with the messenger.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Samurai Udansha. This time we're going to be working on the messenger. The run that we're going to be doing is going to be linear, new game plus, no out of bounds. For anybody that's familiar with this game, we pretty much separate the boards into out of bounds and no out of bounds, and the no out of bounds is what I prefer, so that's what we're going to stick with here. The new game plus, in case anybody is not aware, what happens with this is Sabotage actually added quite a few features to the new game plus, and not only do you get to maintain all of the items that you collect as far as the shop items, but every successive level that you do of the new game plus, because as you notice there, it says with the little blue star, it says +1. As you continue going up the ladder with the new game plus games, you will actually start to gather more and more and more of the items throughout the game. So by the time you get to new game plus 14, you have every single item in the game. You run through the portion of the game that I'm about to play here, and then you go straight to the last level in the game. Unfortunately, in new game plus 14, you get one-shotted, one-hit kills, so it makes it very difficult. But here on just new game plus 1, the enemies, they're not too terribly bad. So luckily, it'll make for a very fast run. We're going to go ahead and get started here in just a second. Again, my name is Samurai Udansha, and I am joined on the virtual couch by the Big K1.
Hello, everyone.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. In 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so as I mentioned, there are several differences here in the run. Luckily here, it's a pretty straightforward linear section of the game, aka that's why they call it linear. But basically, we're just trying to go as fast as we can. There's our buddy Corbel. Hopefully, we won't see him anymore through this run.
Normally, Corbel is not there, but for New Game Plus, he shows up as a kind of a guide to explain the rules for this mode.
And as you notice, I'm going to be abusing the rope dart as much as I can. So that's one of the biggest advantages to having this New Game Plus, because since you have that rope dart, it speeds up the game tremendously for you.
Yeah, the rope dart really makes New Game Plus a whole new experience. If you watch the normal game run compared to the New Game Plus run, it's pretty different. The routes are the same, but the amount of speed you gain in the whole first half hour is way better.
Oh, absolutely. And you'll see some of the differences here, especially once we get the windmill shuriken, which is going to be the other big item that just basically breaks this game wide open for us. We're going to be getting that at the end of the first level, not Ninja Village here, but we're going to be getting it in the Autumn Hills. So what we just witnessed here was the young ninja. He's very tired of his old ninja ways, always having to go do learning and stuff, and he just wants to go out and do something else. But the legend tells of the demon army that comes around every so often, and the Western hero that comes and saves the day. So what we saw was the demon army actually showed up, and the Western hero saved the day. He hands you a scroll and tells you to take it to the highest mountain in the land. So that's where we're going right now.
And we are going really fast with the rope dart here. You wouldn't really even... Normally you don't have the rope dart here, so it's just totally really cool. It gives you invincibility, so you're able to go through all these projectiles and enemies as long as you hit something. But yeah, you can also use it to climb up walls a lot quicker, by kind of spamming it and jump in alternating buttons.
Now, I could have gone and got the windmill shuriken there in that very first shop, and there's a really cool trick that can be done with that. But for consistency and the marathon safety sake, I decided that we wouldn't go for that trick. We're going to go for a slightly slower, but still an impressive trick nonetheless. And we're just going to pick that windmill shuriken up at the end of the level instead.
Slightly slower, almost equally as cool. Here you're getting a case of what everybody loves, that the music gets muted going through the water. Also, having the spin dash in New Game Plus, that's not normally a thing under the water yet, so it makes that whole section way faster. Much more tolerable.
Alright, so I messed the trick up. Normally what we would do is the blue steel, and you would actually be able to just fly across that entire room and land in this room. It saves a good bit of time, but, you know, I missed it, but that's okay. It's not the trick is not a gimme. It does take a lot of practice. I practiced it a lot earlier today. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out for me.
Yeah. Sometimes it feels like it works every time, and then it just doesn't when you need it. But it's not a terrible time loss in New Game Plus, because at least you have the rope dart to pick up the speed again. So here, Samurai just abusing the iframes of the rope dart, going through spiky balls. Coming up to the end of this level, Samurai is actually going to take a pit stop in the shop. Figured I'd say that just so you don't forget. But he's going to stop by the shop and quickly pick up something called the Windmill Shuriken. And you can throw 3 of them at once, and you can we call them windmill juggling. Basically, it's going to go past him in the front, and he's going to jump over it and continue cycling it to kill his boss. Really fast.
So if you notice at the very end there, right before he died, I did a rope dart on him, and it made Ninja do a little bit of a slide there at the very end. While it doesn't save much time, it does save just a little fraction of time by doing that, because you're that much closer to the exit.
Saves 2 whole ninja footsteps, or 1 ninja length, to be precisely measured. Or
saves about 8 seconds. That seems to be the catch-all phrase here for this game. It's how much time does that save? Oh, I think it saves about 8 seconds. It's a kind of a community meme now.
The ninja or samurai just passing by the saving a little buddy there. That's one of the Phobikins, as they're called. That little purple guy that's smiling away. There's 4 of them in the run, and we only see this one in this category. But they're named after their fears. And they're always located where they're most scared, which is very convenient.
Alright, luckily I messed up there slightly. I bonked my head when I was trying to go up. And I say luckily because that is a very scary strat to try to bypass that little crusher. So I'm actually kind of glad that I bonked, because the last thing I want to do is take a death this early in the game. I mean, because it's one of those that is so tight. It's so tight, if you make even one misstep, you're going to die.
Yeah, this whole level is all about cycles. Regardless if you're in New Game Plus or New Game Normal. You can basically go through every room without stopping, but if you miss like one jump or anything, you're going to be playing the next cycle pretty tight if you want to get through without getting crushed. The crushers make everyone sad in this level if you miss a cycle. The samurai coming up to a tight trick here. Making it look really easy. In that room with the 3 lanterns. Normally, you'd see our buddy here that shows up once in a while, whose name is Ruxpin. We're actually skipping an entire cutscene and having to fight some enemies by slashing that lantern really specifically. If you drop too low, then he shows up and makes you waste about 8 to 10 seconds about. Just to be mean to the run.
Ah, come on.
Just now pointing out the convenience of 8 seconds. Showing up once again without even trying.
But honestly, it's true. I think it's somewhere around 7 to 8 seconds that it can save, depending on how well you play that room. So it's definitely worth taking some of these skips whenever you have the opportunity.
Boss number 2 of the game, Ruxton. Samurai's going to try to juggle him at the top with his windmill.
I'm going to avoid the juggling just because it's so tight. I'll take a slightly slower strat, but it's because the last thing you want to do, because it's so tight there at the top of the screen, if you're trying to do the windmill juggle and the jump and the slash and everything, the whole 9 yards, it's very easy to fall through the platform. And therefore you're going to
find even trying it doesn't work sometimes. You'll just pick up them anyway.
Exactly.
It's pretty tight.
So sometimes I think it's just better to go for the fastest kill possible without the chance of messing it up severely. Hold on, I want to try this again.
The Bamboo Boy's favorite level in the game. I wish I
messed it up.
Audio. I'm actually a little off here. This song does have lyrics.
Chinese food is good for you. I like to eat Chinese food, and Chinese food is yummy too. If you like me too, you will bring me Chinese food because it is so yummy. Did I mention I like Chinese food?
Beautiful official lyrics to the Bamboo Creek song. I believe those are actually in the wiki for the game. I haven't checked myself, but I've heard the rumors. So yeah, this level, there's lots of tight tricks. He's actually using the windmill shuriken at parts to gain extra jumps, because you do get a cloud step off of the windmill as well. And he's going to use that a lot from this point on, especially in Bamboo here. There's another skip coming up that we refer to as the N2 Plus skip. Let's see if he gets it perfect.
Not perfect, but you know, it's serviceable. We'll take that.
It's always such a cool room. That's always such a cool room to watch.
This whole level, I mean, there's so many cool strats to do. You saw me doing those yeets earlier. They work out most of the time pretty well. I think that's part of the reason why this is one of the Bamboo Boys' favorite levels. This one and Glacial Peak. So we'll be coming up on that one shortly.
Yeah. This level tends to be kind of the part where I think, at least with myself, and I think some people, this is where people really have to start practicing the most, because you really have to practice your cloud steps to be able to get through. That was not a glitch. There is no boss in that level. This is a vacation level.
And for those of you not familiar with this game, it is definitely worth checking out, if nothing else because of the humor and stuff, because that's something that they kind of point at when when you're talking to the shopkeeper on a casual playthrough. The shopkeeper tells you that, oh yeah, this is a vacation. You're not gonna have to worry about a boss. And then when you get to the end, you're like, what? There's no boss? And the shopkeeper's like, oh, well, I told you there's not a boss. This game has amazing writing. The gameplay itself is fun. It's highly recommended.
The writing is really funny if you're into that little bit of cheesy-ish humor. Very fourth wall breaking. The shopkeeper being the main source of most of it, which we only really see once in this run. Or, I think we'll see him again once. This is the Donkey Kong room, as we refer it to. You're not going to get to see too many Donkey Kong strats in New Game Plus, but the boulder douches, as they are officially confirmed to be called, throwing rocks, being rude. I think it's French.
Yeah, surprisingly, there's a lot of French words in this game. Half of them I can't pronounce.
The studio who made the game, Sabotage Studio from Quebec, I believe.
Yes. And the
Really
great thing
cool
about
guys.
what I think's really cool about it too is that Sabotage, this is their first game. I mean, it's amazing. This is probably hands down. Okay, no, hands down is the wrong word. It's definitely at the top of my list of all-time favorite games.
Definitely. Not in this level itself. There's not too technical really going on with it for the most part. We're just going fast. Not really any cycles to be concerned about. just abusing the rope dart and going fast. This is a tough boss coming up, though. See if Samurai can get the one cycle.
Nope. I accidentally caught one of the windmill shuriken and I kind of gave up on it from there. That's okay.
I was looking close.
If I wouldn't have grabbed that one windmill shuriken, it probably would have. Good enough, though.
You're able to one cycle this boss if you get up to the top and juggle those shurikens just good enough. It's really tight. Can only be done in New Game Plus.
Spinning Ninja.
And there is a phase 2 to that fight. Samurai kind of ending it in half a second.
Oh, I had an extra cloud step out for that. That's actually pretty interesting.
We're at a high Bible thump moment now. Turns out that wasn't really an enemy. That was actually his golem, and we kind of ruined it. So, yeah, that's Ninja's bad.
So if we can do this right, I'm going to show you off, show a technique real quick. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can do it. All right, so what I just did is called a teleport. This is the first time that you actually see it in the New Game Plus run. The first time you would see it in a regular New Game run is in Glacial Peak. But basically what you're doing is you're fooling the game into thinking that you're trying to attack a different monster, and it teleports you to the closest same enemy type. Because what we're doing is, right before you throw the rope dart, you throw your sword, and it kills the enemy before you connect with, like, actually hit them. So the game is confused and tries to figure out where you're supposed to go, and it connects you to the next closest enemy type. So it's an interesting little mechanic that was discovered. We try to exploit it as much as we can through any of the runs for this game.
Sabotage is cool to just kind of let it happen since it's a cool speedrun trick. Doesn't really affect much, and you can't do it everywhere. It's really specific as to where you can do the teleports. But,
and again, yeah, that's another one.
They're actually not as tough to pull off as you might think. It's mostly positioning. The actual inputs that you have to do for a teleport are really just sword slash and rope dart right after. But usually it's your positioning that can mess them up. Another really cool little detail about this level. The mushrooms in the background actually sing to parts of the song. Some of the mushrooms have little faces. The bully room doing what it likes to do. Be bully. And yeah, this current checkpoint Samurai's at can be really scary. It's scarier in New Game than the normal New Game, but there's some pretty tough cycles here that can ruin your day if you get crushed or hit by a spike. It's all worth it because now he's coming up to one of the best bosses in the game.
And it's funny too because this is the easiest boss in the game to skip. There's a secret strat that you can do that you can actually basically just climb up over the top wall on the right side and just leave the fight without even really hitting her. I think you have to hit her like 2 or 3 times tops. We'll take that.
Nice fight. The strat for that is trying to keep her up on the top rings. If she gets down, then she's gonna do some multiple different strats, or she's gonna start throwing, I don't even know what they are really, thorns, I guess, at you. And you don't want to see that too much because then the cycles get too long. But a little bit easier to control in New Game Plus. Very nice. skips at the beginning of Crags. So story-wise here, we're now at the base of the mountain. We're almost nearing the end of our journey as the messenger. Once we deliver the message, surely there isn't any more of the game.
All right, I'm gonna show you something here. This is just to show you how we abuse the windmill shuriken in this game. I'm losing time here, but that's okay. You normally don't do this in this run, but this is something that you would do in the any % run. What you can do is actually from here you duck down and throw 2 shuriken. Ugh, and I messed up. Hold on. And you can actually jump up here, and I'll go ahead and grab it just for giggles. If you notice that he is standing here and there's absolutely nothing around him and he's just floating in the air and you're like, what in the world is he doing? In the course of the game, whenever you're playing later on, when you're doing the any %, you actually will see a music note. It's one of the collectible items that you get in the game. You can actually collect it early on and skip that entire portion of the game later on. So I just wanted to show that off, how we actually abuse the windmill shuriken in this game, because it's an amazing item that was added. Oh. Of course, I missed the one tile.
There we go. Nice downward slash. And yeah, there aren't too many places in the early game where you there are a lot of places you can just kind of sequence play really in New Game Plus now, especially with the windmill shuriken and the down slash. I thought maybe you'd be going for another teleport there.
It's a really tight teleport.
I always like that final climb.
Yeah, it's always fun.
Alright, so they're coming at this fight is Colus and Cetus, or Colossus. Green boy you can only hit in the front. He's got a big belly. And orange one you can only hit in the back because he's way stronger. I guess that's how it works. But we're hoping to not see too many of their combo moves, especially the People's Elbow, which just came out.
The People's Elbow isn't bad. The worst one is the Sousa Spin Ball. I hate seeing that one because it's definitely a run killer. So far, so good, though.
It is a run killer, but it is very impressive to watch people chase after him.
Alright, so I almost had Kolos on that one cycle, but that's okay. We didn't lose too terribly much time there.
Yep. That was about as good a fight as you can hope for without there too many combo moves coming out.
Alright, so coming up is Glacial Peak. This is widely regarded by the speedrunning community as their favorite level. And it's just because by this point in the game, if you're playing on regular New Game, you've collected pretty much all of the base items and stuff. The movement is so fast. You're using the rope dart to go everywhere. I mean, it's really fun. Plus the music's really banging.
Yeah. This is where it is required by Messenger Law to place any dance emote you have in the chat at this point.
Shovel please in
Shovel
chat.
please would be preferred, but if not, sour please is very welcome as well. Most of this level has no floor.
First try, baby. First try.
That is beautiful.
Got the BK Glacial Climb, named after your very own Big K1. He's the very first person that I ever saw do that climb, and I grinded the you-know-what out of it for this marathon, so I'm glad it worked out.
Never performed again by myself, but it is a very cool trick. Really hard to pull off. And it looks really cool when it's done. First try is just amazing, so it's nice. There's a hooded stranger here. We may or may not see him again in the future. You just cannot stop him, so we just go past him as fast as we can. Lots of really cool strats in this level, especially in New Game Plus. Lots of abuse of the windmill shuriken to get jumps. Just making it look beautiful. This is always one of the best levels of the rooms of the run to watch, this climb. And I don't think we've even seen, we saw the shopkeeper once, right?
Just one time, other than now, because shopkeeper is standing out there in the snow. But so we just got to the top of the tall mountain, and they tell us to pick the scroll up. So Ninja, not understanding, he just kind of holds it out just right in front of him, and they say no, raise it higher. So he holds it up, and then the Tower of Time appears. So what this is now, it is the trial for the messenger. If he is able to make it through this, then they basically are considering him to be the messenger, and they allow him to continue on his journey. If I'm not mistaken, I think that the canon actual story here is that the majority of messenger wannabes die in the Tower of Time. So Ninja's one of the few that actually supposed to make it through. Hopefully we'll make it through okay.
This level in New Game Plus is a lot, I don't want to say easier, but it's a lot quicker. You can kind of bypass a lot of the lasers by throwing the windmill shuriken, because it goes right through walls. And if you hit one of those crystals, you're able to basically just warp around, and it just saves some effort, some time. Skip a few cycles.
I couldn't get off that crusher. I was trying to get off of it, but it didn't work.
Yeah, finally seeing an instance of Sticky Ninja, which is Ninja refusing to get off of any wall that you get near.
Yeah. That's an ongoing meme in the community. Is Sticky Ninja. He will stick to a wall in a heartbeat, and you just like, oh my goodness, it completely mess your movement up. We got an extra rope dart in there. Thank you very much, Mr. Wizrobe. Oh no, I wasn't trying to. I did the slow strat there intentionally so I wouldn't get hit, and of course you see what happened.
Yeah, this the Tower of Time is often called the Tower of Tears for a reason.
That was scary.
It's very easy to take a couple extra hits here and, well, ruin the run right at the last minute. It's not called the Tower of Tears by everybody, but I would like to think most people think of it that way.
It definitely makes me cry.
And all these lasers do a lot of damage, so you don't want to hit them too much. You can damage boost a few times when you have a lot of health, but spikes also doing a lot of damage. And
for reference, spikes take 3 damage and lasers take 4 damage, just for reference.
Yeah, and you really have to watch your health when you're going through this level. Sometimes you get a little carried away and it doesn't end well.
Yeah, the worst one, for anybody out there, I don't want to spoil it too bad, but if you go through the DLC that comes with the game, hold on. If you go through the DLC that comes with the game, you can unlock a secret mode where your life is like really, really high, and you get this really false sense of security because you're like, oh, I got so much life, I'm not going to die, and then you try to damage boost through all those lasers, and the next thing you know, you die and your game over.
It adds up very fast. This is referred to the time waster room, the room full of crystals. Windmill shuriken not making it so much of a time waster. Samurai making the final climb of what we would refer to as the 8-bit category of the run. No particular reason why at this point, without spoiling too much. Most people would think it's the end of the game if they watched speedruns of this.
If I get a good time here, actually that's not bad considering that I stopped and got the key of strength. I'm putting for, a kind of a lowish 28. That's actually a really good time for this. I don't think it would have been quite a PB pace, but it would have been pretty close to it if I would have not stopped for the key of strength. But I wanted to show you.
Just pulling out rope darts, basically. But yeah, a 28 minutes for 8-bit, very good.
Yeah, roughly 28-26 with loads. That would have been about a 28-16 roughly. Without loads, yeah, that would have been really hot. Probably would have been a sub 28 if I would not have stopped for the key of strength. All right, so I'm going to actually do something interesting here. I'm going to throw these shuriken. I'll tell you why. So with this, coming up here in this next level, we're going to have either kill an animal or save an animal. If Ninja catches all the shuriken, then the animal lives. If he misses the shuriken, then the animal dies. Oh, he missed. So the animal's going to die. I figured that'd be an interesting way to leave it up to fate to determine whether or not the animal lives.
Fate chose wisely.
Fate chose wisely. But unfortunately, it doesn't really save any time, but, you know. We like to believe that we're playing Super Metroid here, and killing the animals saves frames. So we'll go with that.
So this part of the game is now what we refer to as linear, and as you can see, Ninja looks a little different. So does the whole game, really. We've traveled way into the future now, and we are actually in 16-bit. The music gets all Genesis-like, and you get a cool hat, and that's, of course, the only thing that matters.
That's such a cool hat. I want one.
I like the little details, too, about how he's got a little cape on.
This is definitely some of the best music in the game as well.
Yeah, this level also has these ghost enemies that are, they control you pretty hard in some sections.
Nice, we got the fast climb.
No floor. Oh, I'm gonna climb. The floor has, there is no floor, and it's full of ghosts, and it's a scary room, and it's coming up really soon.
Yeah. We affectionately refer to it as the Banshee Pit. It's not going to be too fun. Let's put it that way. What was that? That was a bad rope dart.
This is one of the few auto-scrollers of the game. I don't think there's any other auto-scrollers to my knowledge other than this level, really.
Oh.
Or there is one, I guess, later on. A little bit more interactive. But
funny enough, it involves the dragon.
Also involving the dragon.
Yes.
He likes to waste time in this game. Ooh, scary past that crusher.
Alright, this is the Banshee Pit room that we were talking about earlier. I'm going to jinx myself probably, but this is the hardest room in the game in my opinion. And it's because of the no floor aspect. Trying to hit that lantern like I just did right there is extremely scary because if you miss that rope dart, you're dropping straight into that pit. There's almost no way around it. So luckily we were able to nail it.
Sometimes the ghosts will just, your rope dart will just kind of ignore them sometimes. It's weird. It's a weird room.
Agreed, completely. It's a terrible room, but, you know, it is what it is. It's one of those things as a runner that you just have to get used to and practice.
Running through another auto-scroller. Being very careful. He's very fast.
Oh yeah, because right here, if he touches you, it's like instant death. There's he's not going to just take life from you. You're done. And then you lose a pretty good bit of time because you have to go back and restart the whole auto scroller. So it's definitely worth staying ahead of him as much as you can.
I think most speedrunners, I think this is kind of the part where they're, I don't know, at least myself, I'm less enthralled by auto-scrollers. And I think most people are like, auto-scrollers. But, there aren't too many of them. I think you should shoot fire as well to make it more exciting.
Alright, so this is the third Manfred chase. Here's the animal that I was talking about earlier. So since Ninja, rather, did not catch all of the shuriken, we're going to go ahead and get rid of him.
The good luck kill. It was mercy, really. He was about to jump off of this cliff, and we don't want to know what would have happened to him.
We're sacrificing him for Balfred. That's what's happening. And hopefully you'll see what I'm talking about here in just a second.
Where'd Ninja go? There he is.
I almost lost it, but luckily I was able to hold on to it. Hey, we'll take that. We will take the Balfred.
We call that Balfred in the community. His name's actually Manfred, and he's now good. But in that fight, there's actually a very specific place you can position yourself. And instead of him flying away and continuing the fight, he just kind of gets locked in this position where he spins in a circle, as you saw. And as long as you don't fall, you can just damage him till the end of the fight.
Yeah, and more or less what it is that you want to be in his head, like the sprite for his head, as he starts to move, like spin in circle, and then he goes flying after Ninja. If you're in the head sprite, then it's like he gets confused and doesn't know what to do, so he just starts spinning in place. So you can just basically destroy him. I mean, it's a really nice glitch that we take advantage of, because even best case scenario, even if you have like an amazing fight, you're still saving at least like 20 to 30 seconds, like a minimum. And depending on how the fight goes, it could be even more than that. So definitely worth going for every time, because even if you fail it, you don't lose any extra time. The only thing that you gain time if you happen to get the glitch.
Even if you're not totally warmed up to the strat yet, it's worth going for just to
absolutely
pray that you get it.
Yep, absolutely.
One of those things that the devs could have fixed, but, you know, it doesn't hurt anything. This is, I think a lot of people would agree, is one of the best levels in the game.
It's my favorite. Really, it is definitely my favorite. Yeah, it's just so much smooth movement and cool strats that you can do. I really like this level.
Yeah, there's rooms full of hot Fanta.
We're gonna take the safety, just in case. I've hit those spikes before, and you don't want to die.
Flat orange soda you can run on top of, but if it's wavy, nope. You wouldn't know it, but this climb, you are being chased by lava. Samurai making it look pretty slow, though, in comparison. Not too much threat. There's a lot of jump of faith here at the end, as you leap kind of into bits of nothing. We are coming up to the last boss of the run.
Got to get him in that corner cheese.
Nice.
Time. 37:25. That's funny. That is hilarious. Like,
nice.
If I would not have stopped for that key of strength, this would have been a PB run. Like, this seriously.
That boss is very difficult for a first-time player, especially even learning to run. That's a great fight. I was kind of wondering if it was getting close.
Yeah, I'm happy that it actually worked out really well. I've got 6 minutes to burn, so I do want to show off one little thing real quick. Now, you don't see it in this run at all. It is an out-of-bounds trick. It is something that was fairly recently discovered by one of our out of bounds wizards. Shout outs to Vitalia for this. So basically what it is that there was a long time that we spent that we were trying to figure out how we can actually break this game wide open. And he at one point had actually found out that you can skip from the green level, the Howling Grotto. You can skip straight from the Howling Grotto to the Tower of Time. And what that does is it allows you to go either straight to the actual last boss of the 8-bit run, or if you're playing like New Game Plus 14 that I mentioned earlier, it allows you to go straight to the last level. So, but the problem is that in Howling Grotto, you have to go through several levels you have to go through several levels just to get there. We spent a long time trying to find a way to actually get to the Tower of Time through Autumn Hills, and Vitalia was the one that actually figured it out. So let's see if we can do it. What we're going to do is we're going to get right here, and it's a special oob clip that we have to do that you're basically jumping and rope darting at almost the exact same time. And what ends up happening is, notice how I am in the sprite of the tree, like in the background. If I were to stand up and crouch, I'm going to die. And if I die, it's game over because I've only got 7 shards. But from here, what I can do is just rope dart and I will fall straight down. So let's see if we can do this.
Yeah, this is a really crazy trick that it's really neat to see.
So I did it first try, and what ends up happening is you come here. So you're not supposed to actually see this area at this point in the game because we clipped out of bounds and we went to one of the portals that basically warps you straight to the Tower of Time. So now that we're here, we can go into this closed door, and we're here in the Tower of Time headquarters. This is the point in the game that was just beyond where, like, the boss that I just beat, the run that I just did. This is the point in the game just past that. So we basically skipped from the first actual level of the game to the halfway point, more or less. And then from here you can talk to the Artificer. Yeah, that's the Artificer. And then the shopkeeper, you have to talk to the shopkeeper here in sec 2. So you run this way. So if you were actually doing the 8-bit out of bounds run here, you could go straight from Autumn Hills straight over this way, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. You just run this way. You go talk to this guy right here, and he asks you if you would like to try the Tower of Time challenge again. So notice that we didn't actually do the Tower of Time challenge yet here in this run, but he'll warp you straight there. And if you're running the 8-bit, this is about a 7-minute run. If you do it well, you can beat this game, or at least this run, in about 7 minutes. But the great thing too is I mentioned about that New Game Plus 14 earlier, that if you were actually playing on New Game Plus 14 and you did that oob skip, you would have all of those little, like you see the red music note right there and you see the green music note right there, you would already have all of the music notes there, and in which case you could go straight to the music box and go straight to the end of the game. So even if you were able to, like if you did the New Game Plus 14, you could probably beat it in a sub 10. Now, I don't know that for sure because I don't think that we actually have anybody that has done that run quite yet. I did the old skip going to the Howling Grotto and coming here and doing that, and that was about an 18-minute run. So this skip that was found by Vitalia cuts that in half. So shout outs to Vitalia for the find. He is an incredible wizard. But with this game, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. It's an amazing game. It's an amazing community. It's honestly one of the best speedrunning communities that I've ever seen. We're constantly growing as well. The game is incredible. The support is incredible. The developers are incredible. If you haven't played this game before, it is worth at least a casual play. I highly, highly recommend that everybody out there go out and play this game. And if you have played it, please speedrun it. It is a very, very rewarding speedrun. So with that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. But just stick around because next up we're going to have Cyber Shadow. The big K1 is going to be running that, and I'm going to be on commentary with him. So make sure you all check it out.